let's be honest, most landscapers don't set goals for themselves. And if they do, they don't know how to execute on them or actually achieve them. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 7 different strategies that you can use in your landscaping business to actually achieve your goals in 2026 and beyond. What's going on, you guys? This is Matt Thibeau here with Savant Marketing Agency, and Merry Christmas. The other week, I was chatting with a landscaping company. I was asking him, what are your goals for 2026? And he was like, Matt, to be honest with you, I don't really have any goals. And even if I did, I don't even know how I would go about to actually achieve them. Like, I could say I could want to do something, but I don't know the roadmap. I don't know how to actually practically make it come to fruition. And that's what this video is all about. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to achieve your marketing, sales, and business goals so that you can actually hit your goals and be able to increase the quality of your life, increase the quality of your employees' lives, and overall just make a bigger impact in your company. So step number 1, the first thing is you need to know where you're at. You need to know what your current level is, what your current situation is. You'd be surprised how many multi-million-dollar landscaping companies don't really know how many leads per month they're getting, what their cost per lead is, sometimes even like how much they're making monthly. And it's really important for you to take half a day, take a day if you need to, and just get absolute clarity on where are you currently at in your business? What is your monthly revenue? What is your profit margin? How many leads per month do you get? What is your cost per lead? What is your closing rate? Just take the time to actually look at those numbers. Now, when I say that, a lot of the times landscapers will say, well, I can't even access that information because I don't track that. Then start there. Start tracking your KPIs, your key performance indicators, so that you can start to improve them. Athletes, for example, are always measuring what their statistics are, their KPIs, to be able to run faster, jump higher, and lift more. And you as a business person needs to do the same exact thing. So just measuring your results is going to actually improve your results because you're going to be able to see, hey, last month we did worse than we did this month. I'm looking at my sales numbers. I know that I did better this month. Or we got more leads this month, or we got less leads, etc. So just measuring your KPIs, if you don't do anything else in this video, will make your results better in 2026. You're not going to be able to hit your goals if you don't even know how much revenue you're bringing in every month or how many leads, etc. So just know those numbers and make it your duty to know those numbers and to be able to measure them so then you can start to actually set goals for yourself. And that brings us to step number 2, which is, what is your desired goal? What do you want to do in your business in 2026? Maybe it's add a certain amount of revenue per month to your company. Maybe it's to add another truck or crew. Maybe it's to just make sure that you're booked up for, 2 months in advance or something like that. Whatever it is that you set as a goal, you want to make sure that it is very black and white and it can actually be measured, because the worst thing that you want to do when you're setting a goal is to be able to make it like really generic. You don't want to just say like, oh yeah, I want to be booked up and really busy. But like, how booked up to what amount of time? Like, how far out? Or what does your week need to look like to make that happen? How many jobs per week need to be booked in? How many crew members need to be on the team to make that a reality, right? So you want to get very clear on what that number is, because numbers aren't emotional. They can be measured. And so the worst thing would be to look back on the year and be like, did you hit your goal? I don't know, because my goal was a very abstract goal. So you want to make it very clear. I recommend a number. Typically, honestly, like adding a certain amount of revenue per month is going to be one of like the easier goals to measure. So I would recommend that. But whatever you choose to do for your goal, just make sure that it's very, very tangible. So for this example, let's say that your goal is to add $60,000 per month in additional revenue. Your company is doing $100,000 and your goal is to do $160,000 per month. So once you have your goal, then what you need to do is isolate what is the gap, right? So let's say right now you're doing $100,000 in your landscaping business per month and you want to do $160,000 a month. That means that the gap is $60,000, right? Pretty simple math. But the reason that it's so important to isolate the gap is because now you know, okay, this is what I need to do and make up for to be able to make that goal a reality. So in this case, it's $60,000, right? So because we know it's $60,000, we can start taking actions to actually make it come to fruition. And that brings us to getting the numbers, right? So $60,000, let's break down the numbers for that, right? So the first thing that you need to understand is, what is my average order value, the price of the job? So let's say that your average ticket price for a job or an install is $10,000, right? That means to hit $60,000 in additional sales per month, you're going to need 6 additional jobs, right? So you're going to take 6 and you're going to divide that by 30%, which is going to get you about 20. And then you're going to take that 20 and you're going to multiply it by 2, and that's going to get you the number 40, right? So that means that you need 40 additional leads to be able to hit that 6 additional jobs and get you the 60,000, right? So you may be wondering how I came to that number. I'm using something called the 50-30 rule, which essentially means that 50% of your leads are going to book in for an in-person estimate, and 30% of those estimates are going to close into a job. So I essentially just work backwards and I isolate how many jobs I need to make the 60,000, and I reverse the 30% closing rate. And then I come to 20 estimates, per month. And I just multiply that by 2, because 50%. So I get to 40 qualified leads per month, right? So now you know, okay, I need 40 leads per month to hit my $60,000 goal in this example, right? Next, what you need to do is be like, how am I going to add 40 leads per month? So what you're going to look at is, what is our current cost per lead with our marketing? Let's say it's $50. Then you're going to take 50 and you're going to times that by 40, and that's going to get you roughly how much you need to spend on ads to be able to hit your goal of the 40 leads and get the $60,000. But let's say that you're watching this right now and you're not really doing any marketing. You're not at the point where you know what my cost per lead is, etc. Then you're going to have to start to look at what average benchmarks are to understand what it would take to scale that. So just to give you some rough numbers, on Facebook, typically it's about $20 to $50 per lead. And then on Google, it's about $50 to $80. So if you're planning on using advertising, which I would recommend to grow your business from 100,000 to 160,000 a month, you're going to be able to do the math on that by just taking the 40 leads and multiply that by, let's say, $50, and you'll get your ad spend. So that's just a brief idea of understanding the numbers and knowing what I need to do. And let's say maybe you're doing another marketing strategy. It's not advertising. Let's say it's doing door-to-door or flyers or whatever. You're going to do the same exact thing. You're just going to know, how many flyers do we need to put out to get a lead, right? Or how many door hangers, or how many doors do we need to knock, et cetera, et cetera. So reverse engineering the numbers and understanding what it takes to get to the 40 additional leads in this example, and you just work backwards from there. So once you get those numbers, then it's really important for you to understand, what are the teams and systems that I need to put in place to actually make that happen, right? Because what I've realized is that when it comes to setting goals, we don't hit our goals. We achieve the lowest possible standard that we're willing to accept, right? And so most people, because personal life gets difficult, they're busy, whatever, family, etc., they will typically over time slip into their lowest standard. And so you need to build really great teams and systems that can execute on adding the additional leads or adding the additional sales or whatever it is that your goal is, to be able to do that day in, day out, right? Because you can't always count on yourself, especially as an entrepreneur. Typically, entrepreneurs have a low follow-through rate. They're very good with ideas and they're visionaries, but they're not the best at doing the same thing over and over and over again every single day, day in and day out, right? And so you need some strong execution, people and systems to make it all happen. I would personally recommend hiring a marketing company like ourselves, because you don't have to worry about the execution of the ads and all this stuff. And you can just hire an expert to come in, make sure that the results are going to come through, and then you can focus on doing the sales and running the team and all the expansion, right? And so expansion comes with a lot of effort. It's not easy to expand a business and to grow and do all these things. So you need to make sure you have the right people in place and the right systems in place. And if you have great systems and people, you will be able to hit your goal, because then once you have the right team in place, then it just comes down to check-in, right? So maybe bi-weekly, that's with our agency, we check in with our clients every 2 weeks. And are we on track or are we off track? What are we doing, right? Every month at least you should be doing this, right? Maybe it's just a check-in with yourself. You're just checking in with yourself and you're just saying, are we on track? Are we off track for the goal? What are the numbers? This is why tracking numbers is super important. And that monthly check-in is going to keep you accountable and make sure that you're on track. And most people don't do that monthly check-in, right? They just let things slide out and then they give up on it. But doing the monthly check-in is going to be really, really helpful for you. And personally for me, something doesn't happen unless it's booked into the calendar. So book it into the calendar, do a check-in with yourself or your team, whatever it is, and just make sure that you're on track. And if you're off, adjust. And now the last thing I want to share with you is keeping the vision alive. Growing a business, like I said, is hard. And every single day you're going to get kind of beat down by the struggle of it all, right? So it's really important that you keep your vision alive. And the best way to do that, from my experience, is by having something called a vision board. Now, I know this might sound kind of cheesy, and you've probably heard of this before, but it is very effective. And so every single year, what I do is I print off a bunch of pictures off of the internet of all the things that I want to achieve, and I put them up on a poster board, and I put it up in front of my office wall. So every single day I'm seeing these pictures and images and numbers of things that I'm trying to achieve in my life, right? So for you, let's say that you and your wife want to buy a new home, right? Maybe you put a picture of that home up there. So every day you're looking at that. Or maybe you want to spend more time with your kids and doing fun stuff, right? So maybe you have a picture of you and your kids going biking together or playing sports, etc., right? Maybe you want to put that number, in this case, it's 160 grand a month you want to hit in your landscaping business. Maybe you put $160,000 there and you have it right front and center. So every day you're looking at that and you're thinking about your goal, right? This is going to remind your subconscious, it's going to always be there, so that every single day you're going to be reminded and you're going to be thinking about that number, and you're going to subconsciously start taking actions that are going to make it all happen. It's going to freak you out because oftentimes, when you have your vision front and center like that and you're really clear on what you want, you will achieve it. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. So making a vision board, try it out over the holiday season. I think it's definitely going to help you out. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe. If you want to share with me your goals for 2026, comment below. I'd love to see them. And as always, if you're watching this right now and you're looking for an expert marketing company to come in and be your team, to help keep you accountable, to do the hard work and make sure that you are on track to hitting your goals when it comes to marketing and sales, my link is in the description. You can book a call with our team. We'd love to be able to support you this year and help your landscaping or outdoor living business grow. All right, guys, I'll see you on my next video.